Long ago and not far away, there lived a prince called Llywelyn Mawr. He was the wisest, the strongest, the truest prince that Wales had ever known. Wherever he went, people would gather to him and loved him. They say he was so strong that he had a sword that only he could carry. But his heart was sad. You see, he had married a princess from across the sea, and they had had a baby called Gwenllian. But his wife died, as many did in those days, leaving Llywelyn with the baby Gwenllian fach, and the only other company he had, his hound, Gelert. Gelert was a huge hound, with a bite that could swallow the head of a man whole. Wherever Llywelyn went, Gelert went. When Llywelyn ate, Gelert ate. When Llywelyn slept, Gelert slept at the foot of the bed. They were inseparable. Although he was fierce, inside there beat the heart of a lamb. And our story takes place in the wilds of mid-Wales, where Llywelyn was with his army, waiting to do battle with his enemies. His tent was set up, the cot for the baby was there, and Llywelyn sat with Gelert and sung songs to the baby Gwenllian until she went to sleep. Placing her in the cot, Llywelyn kissed her on the head, then called to Gelert. "Gelert, come here. Protect the baby while we sleep." But in the dark of the night, where light is nowhere to be seen, there came a cry, and a messenger burst into the tent. My lord, the enemy is upon us. Take arms, my lord, we must fight a battle as the dawn breaks." Llywelyn jumped up, put on his armour, picked up his shield, picked up his sword, went to march out with battle on his mind. "Come on, Gelert!" But then he realised there was no one to look after the baby Gwenllian. Far away he heard the horns of the enemy blowing. He could hear the cheers of his men and the stampede of horses. So he turned to Gelert. "Look after the baby, Gwen. Look after Gwenllian. Look after her with every beat that you have left in your heart, Gelert." And with that he was gone. As the dawn broke, battle took place. Throughout the day, Llywelyn fought against his enemies. The knights charged over the hills. The skies were blackened by arrows. But as the sun started to set and the moon started to rise, at the time between times, Llywelyn returned in triumph. He burst through the tent. But what he saw, he did not expect. The furniture was all ripped and torn, the rug piled against the side of the tent, the blankets on the bed on the floor, and covered in blood. The cot was on its side, and there was no sign of the Princess Gwenllian, only of Gelert, who walked towards the prince with his mouth caked in blood. Llywelyn's anger knew no bounds. Only now he realised that while he was away fighting his battle, the hound Gelert had committed the ultimate betrayal and killed the baby Gwenllian. Llywelyn picked up his sword, and as Gelert stepped towards him, he looked at his master one last time before Llywelyn brought down the sword and killed Gelert where he stood. Llywelyn fell to his knees and started to cry. The tears seeped through his hands. But then his cry was joined by the cry of another. Llywelyn looked around. The sound of a baby crying was there. He looked under the bed, and there he found her, safe and unharmed. The baby Gwenllian, And he found something else as well, for he saw the paw of a giant wolf. Llywelyn pulled at it, and there was the wolf, its neck broken by the bite of a hound. And then realization hit the prince, realization that while he was fighting his battle, another battle had taken place here in the tent, for a great wolf had been drawn by the scent of the baby, and Gelert had stood forth and fought against the wolf, hound against wolf, until Gelert stood triumphant, protecting the baby Gwenllian. But now, Llywelyn had killed Gelert. Llywelyn, his heart broke in that very moment. They say he never smiled again. And not long after, he was killed in an ambush. But before that, he took his hound and buried it next to a river surrounded by mountains in a place that we now call Bathe Gelert, Gelert's grave. And you can visit this place today in the north of Wales. And that, my friends, is the story of Gelert, a story from Wales that is told all over the world, told by me to you today, Owen Staton, the Welsh storyteller. Take care, my friends.